Hello, class. Yeah, the text-to-speech is not working anymore, so you class can hear my voice, okay? Just my voice, not the text-to-speech voices, because that's 404 error message, okay? Anyway, welcome to this week's filmmaking lesson. So on the sponsor video, it's from Summer 2019 guess about all these animals can go in Africa. So yeah, it will be added to Chocoto Animate Kimono Friends 3. Yeah, it will be a sponsor video for Animal Kingdom to visit. Anyway, I'm not going. I might stay in here in West College because I'd rather not go to Brooklyn because in Boston because I'm really busy with West College work. Okay, I also get a midterm exam that you want to hear. Okay, good. Anyway, so first let's do home video releases. So let's go on 2019 home video, and then you can go there. Now let's just see if we can see if this one's done. Okay, January is done. February is done. March is done. April is done. May is done. Well, June isn't. Well, June is done. Okay, we're gonna do 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Yeah, it's about the 2012 by Paramount Pictures. It's made by Paramount Pictures and 3 Arts Entertainment and Bay Films. Here's the plot of this film. In 2012, Benghazi, Libya, is named one of the most dangerous places in the world, and countries have pulled their diplomatic offices out of the country in fear of an attack by militants. The United States, however, still has a diplomatic compound, not an official consulate, open in the city. Less than a mile away is a CIA outpost called the Annex, which is protected by the team of private military contractors from Global Response Staff (GRS). New to the detail is Jack Silva, who arrives in Benghazi and is picked up by Tyrone Roan Woods, commander of the GRS team and a personal friend of Silva. Arriving at the Annex, Silva is introduced to the rest of the GRS team and the CIA chief of station, who constantly gives the team strict reminders to never engage the citizens. The U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens arrives in Benghazi to maintain diplomatic connections amidst the political and social chaos. Despite warnings, Stevens decides to stay at the special mission with limited protection from 5 diplomatic security (DS) agents, principally Scott Rickland and Dave Robin, along with guards hired from the local February 17th Miters Brigade militia, nicknamed February 17. On the morning of the 11th anniversary of the September 11 attacks, Stevens notices suspicious men taking pictures of the compound and notifies his security detail. Sorry about that. Back at the Annex, Silva finds out that his wife is pregnant. That night, a group of militants from Ansar al-Sharia assault the compound. The February 17th guards quickly surrender their posts, allowing the attackers easy access to the special mission compound. Rickland takes Stevens and Smith on IT specialist into the safe room. Unable to breach the safe room, the attackers set the building on fire, hoping to burn the men out. Rickland is able to escape but loses both Stevens and Smith. At the Annex, the GRS team desperately wants to go to the compound to help, but the chief refuses, fearing that the team's departure would expose the Annex. However, the team dispatches to the compound and meets up with the DS agents. Silva and Woods go into the building to try to find Stevens and Smith, but are only able to find Smith's body. The DS team from the compound retreats to the annex, but after Wickland goes in the wrong direction, they are followed back to the annex. Later, the GRS team also retreats to the annex. Knowing an attack by the militants is imminent, the CIA staff of the annex makes several desperate calls for help. The only help they can get is from Glenn Bob Doherty, a GRS officer in Tripoli, who forms a team including 2 Delta operators that fly to Benghazi after several delays. Meanwhile, the GRS team fends off the militants as they try to breach the annex perimeter. After repelling the largest attack wave, the annex receives word from ISR that help is en route. The Tripoli GRS reinforcements arrive and begin preparing the CIA and DS staff to depart for the airport. The militants launch a mortar attack in which Open and Geist are wounded. Geist's left arm is partially severed. Woods rushes to aid Geist and is killed by another mortar round. Doherty is also killed when a third mortar detonates directly in front of him. With the GRS team compromised and the annex now vulnerable, the remaining GRS operators watch as a convoy of vehicles rolls toward the annex. Fearing the worst, the operators prepare to make a final stand until it is revealed that the convoy is an element of the Libya Shield Force, militia escorting the GRS reinforcements. They also find out that Stevens was found behind the compound, but was pronounced dead at the hospital. At the airport, the CIA staff and the wounded Geist board the plane to Tripoli, while the remainder of the GRS team waits for the next plane with the bodies of Stevens, Smith, Woods, and Doherty. Closing titles reveal that all of the surviving members of the annex security teams received contractor medals in the private ceremony and have since retired from the GRS team and live with their families. Geist was able to save his arm after several surgeries. Alright, well, we can't look up on 2012 Benghazi attack because it was just the information on Benghazi attack. Okay, so next we're going to do Captain Marvel by Azusa Nakano, Louis Hirasawa, and Jun Suzuki. Made by Marvel Entertainment's Marvel Studios by Walt Disney Pictures. Here's a plot in this film. In 1995, on the Kree Empire's capital, planet of Hala, Star Force member Verse suffers from amnesia and recurring nightmares involving an older woman. Young Rog, her mentor and commander, trains her to control her abilities while the Supreme Intelligence, the artificial intelligence that rules the Kree, urges her to keep her emotions in check. During a mission to rescue an undercover operative infiltrating a group of Skrulls, alien shapeshifters with whom the Kree are at war, Verse is captured by Skrull Commander Talos. A probe of Verse's memories leads them to Earth. Verse escapes and crash lands in Los Angeles. Her presence attracts SHIELD agents Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, whose investigation is interrupted by a Skrull attack. In the ensuing chase, Verse recovers a crystal containing her extracted memories while Fury kills a Skrull impersonating Coulson Talos, disguised as Fairy's boss killer, orders Fairy to work with Verse and keep tabs on her. Using her extracted memories, Verse and Fairy go to the Project Pegasus installation at the U.S. Air Force Base. They discover Verse was a pilot, presumed to have died in 1989, while testing an experimental jet engine designed by Dr. Wendy Lawson. One Verse recognizes as a woman from her nightmares after Furry informs SHIELD of their location. A team led by Talos, disguised as killer, arrives. Furry discovers Talos, Russ, and helps Verse escape in a cargo jet with Lawson's stowaway cat Goose. They fly to Louisiana to meet former pilot Maria Rambeau, the last person to see Verse and Lawson live. Rambeau and her daughter Monica reveal that Verse is Carol Danvers, who was once like family to them. Talos we're arriving unnamed explains that the Skrulls are refugees searching for a new home and that Lawson was Marvel, a renegade Kree scientist helping them. Talos plays a recovered recording from Lawson's jet, prompting Danvers to remember the crash. Lawson was killed by Yon-Rogg to prevent her from destroying the engine before the Kree could recover it. Destroying the engine herself, Danvers absorbed the energy from the ensuing explosion, gaining powers but losing her memory. Danvers, Talos, Furry, and Rambeau will locate Lawson's cloaked laboratory orbiting Earth, where Lawson hid several Skrulls, including Talos' family, and the Tesseract, the power source of Lawson's engine. There, Danvers is captured by Starforce and interfaces with the Supreme Intelligence. During their conversation, Danvers removes a Kree implant that was suppressing her powers, allowing her to reach her full potential. In a subsequent battle, Furry retrieves Goose, who is revealed to be an alien Flurkin. Goose swallows the Tesseract before blinding Furry's left eye. Danvers destroys a Kree capital ship, forcing Kree officer Ronan the Accuser and his forces to retreat, before overpowering Yon-Rogg on Earth and sending him back to Hala with a warning to the Supreme Intelligence. Danvers departs to help the Skrulls find a new home world, leaving Furry to a notified pager to contact her in an emergency. Meanwhile, Furry drafts an initiative to locate heroes like Danvers, naming it after her Air Force call sign Avenger. In a mid-credit scene, set in the present day, the activated pager is being monitored by the Avengers when Danvers appears. In a post-credit scene, Goose climbs into Furry's desk and regurgitates the Tesseract. Okay, so that was Captain Marvel. So next, we're going to do Captain State by Kimono Friends, Serval, Caracal, PvP, Red-Eared Slider, Urza Red Fox, Silver Fox, Giant, and Giant Panda. Here's a plot in this film, but was a long plot, right? Oh well. Okay, so here's a plot in this film. In the year 2019, Chicago is placed under martial law when extraterrestrials invade across the globe. The Drummond family is attempting to flee the city, but every exit is barricaded. After breaking through an uncrewed barricade, their car stops inside a tunnel where extraterrestrials are waiting at the other end. Before they can reverse, the aliens attack, vaporizing the father and mother in the front in the front but leaving their 2 sons alive in the back seats. 9 years later, the world has capitulated to the invaders of submitted to their governing authority. They call the aliens the legislators because all subsequent laws and rules of governance come from them. In the years after Earth's surrender, the aliens have conscripted humans to build suitable habitats for them far underground, called closed zones, walled off from the rest of the city with access only granted to high government officials. Gabriel Drummond Serval, the younger son from the opening scene, lives in the impoverished neighborhood of Pilsen. He is confronted by Chicago Police Commander William Mulligan, Giant Panda, who was partners with Gabriel's father before the invasion. Mulligan is convinced that the resistance group called Phoenix has not been neutralized. Contrary to what the public has been told, Gabriel has no information to give and refuses to snitch away anyway. Later, Gabriel meets with a member of Phoenix to sell a hand-rolled cigarette he received from the co-worker. The man takes him to Wicker Park, where he meets his brother, Raph Caracal, the leader of the resistance. Raph takes the cigarette and directs Gabriel to leave the area because Phoenix is planning an attack of the upcoming Unity Rally of Soldier Field. Gabriel rushes to his apartment and hastily begins to pack. As he leaves the apartment, he is again confronted by Mulligan, who had surveillance on him. Gabriel evades Mulligan and hides underground. The cigarette given to Raph contains a code that allows Raph's team to access the Special Branch's surveillance system and see where certain individuals are, including their target, as well as deployment patterns for security. Raph and other Phoenix members attack the Unity rally using an invisible alien explosive device against the alien guests when they arrive. The attack initially appears successful, but the city is immediately locked down and law enforcement swarms the city to locate the attackers. The aliens, angered by the attack, bring in hunters from off-world to seek out the perpetrators. Sorry about that. They quickly zero on Raph and his accomplices, Anita, Silver Fox, and Daniel, Red Fox. Anita is vaporized when she attempts to rush one of the hunters, and Daniel ingests cyanide to avoid capture, but Raph is shot and arrested by Mulligan. Gabriel emerges from hiding but is later taken into custody during the police raid. Mulligan shows him his brother being tortured for information and convinces him to send a message through the Phoenix communication network in hopes of meeting number 1, Phoenix's supposed ringleader. He is eventually led to Jane Doe, a prostitute who runs a brothel in Pilsen. She acknowledges him by name when he arrives, confusing Gabriel, and at that moment a police strike team raids at the house and kills Doe. The subsequent investigation reveals that Doe had bugged her own residents to record conversations with members of Special Branch whom she had serviced. To glean classified information, the tapes reveal that Police Commissioner Eugene Igo Red-Eared Slider divulged sensitive information about the aliens' arrival to Soldier Field, which allowed Phoenix to develop their attack strategy. Ego, along with Raph and many others, are deported off-world, and Mulligan, declaring the Chicago threat neutralized, is promoted to acting commissioner. Mulligan later meets with Gabriel privately, with Gabriel lamenting the Raph's plan failed. Mulligan, retrieving a box he received from Doe in an encounter earlier in the film, opens it to reveal a BlackBerry phone. Inside, he removes a memory card which he turns over to Gabriel and suggests the failure was the plan all along. Gabriel takes the card from Mulligan and reveals the contents. A video depicting his own baby shower years earlier, before the invasion, where Jane Doe is revealed to have taught at the same school as Gabriel's mother. It was at the shower that they were introduced to Mulligan. Several members of Phoenix were present at the shower, and the video closes with Mulligan leaving a kind message to Gabriel, inspiring him to carry the torch of Phoenix. Meanwhile, Mulligan is cleared to go underground and meet with the legislators in their habitat. As he descends, the same invisible substance that made up the explosive used in the attack at Soldier Field is seen enveloping him, indicating he is part of the resistance, and the plan was orchestrated to get him close enough to deal a fatal blow to the legislators. During the credits, a map details that the closed zone was indeed successfully destroyed, and that several other resistance strikes the protests have broken out in cities all over the US, Asia, and Europe, indicating that the opening exhortation to spark a match and ignite the war has come to fruition, and humanity is overthrowing their alien oppressors. Okay then, that's Captive State. Let's look upon a Fast and Furious 2009 film. Here's a plot in this film. 5 years after escaping from the US, Dominic Toretto and his new crew, consisting of his girlfriend Lenny, Tigo Leo, Rico Santos, Sarah, and Han Lu, are hijacking fuel tankers in the Dominican Republic. Dominic suspects that the police are on their trail, forcing the crew to disband and go their separate ways, with Han deciding to go to Tokyo. Realizing that he must leave, Dominic runs, leaving Letty behind to protect her from harm. 3 months later, Dominic is now residing in Panama City. He gets a call from his sister, Mia Toretto, who tells him that Letty has been murdered. Dominic heads back to Los Angeles to attend her funeral and examine the crash and finds traces of nitromethane on the ground. He visits the only car mechanic that sells nitrothane in LA and forces him into giving him the name David Park, the man who ordered the fuel, and informs him that the only car that uses nitromethane in the area is a green 1972 Ford Gran Torino Sport. Meanwhile, FBI agent Brian O'Connor is trying to track down the Mexican drug lord Arturo Braga. His search leads him to David Park, and he tracks him down using an illegal modification record on his car. Dominic arrives at Park's apartment first and hangs him out of the window and by his ankles before Brian arrives. Brian saves Park, and Park becomes the FBI's new informant. Park gets Brian into a street race. Brian selects a modified 2002 Nissan Skyline GTR R34 from the impound lot. Dominic races in his modified 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454. Giselle Yashar, the liaison of Braga, reveals that the winner will become the last driver on the team that traffics heroin. Between the Mexico-United States border, Dominic wins by bumping Brian's car while it is in nitro, making him lose control. Brian uses his power as an FBI agent to arrest another driver, Dwight Mueller, and takes his place on the team. The team then meets up with Braga's personal henchman, Phoenix, and Dominic notices that Phoenix drives the same Torino and the mechanic described. They drive across the border using underground tunnels to avoid detection. Brian has prior knowledge that after the heroin was delivered, Braga ordered the drivers to be killed. Upon discovering this, Dominic confronts Phoenix and learns that he himself killed Letty when she tried to escape him. A standoff ensues, though not before Dominic creates a diversion by loosening his car with nitrous, sparking a vehicle explosion that destroys his car and several others, including Brian's. In the ensuing chaos, Dominic and Brian hijack the 1999 Hummer H1 and with $60 million worth of heroin in it. Dominic and Brian drive back to LA and hide the heroin in a police impound lot, where Brian picks up a modified Subaru Impreza WRX STI hatchback. They subsequently drive back to Dominic's house, where they reunite with Mia. Dominic finds out Brian was the last person to contact Letty, which results in Dominic attacking Brian until Brian explains that Letty was working on a cover. She was tracking down Braga in exchange for clearing Dominic's record. Brian tells his superiors that in exchange for Dominic's pardon, he will lure Braga into a trap, forcing him to show up the exchange money for the heroin. At the drop site, the man who claims to be Braga is revealed as a decoy and Campos. The real Braga escapes with Phoenix, and the pair flee to Mexico. In the ensuing chaos, Phoenix nearly runs over Giselle before Dom saves her. Brian and Dominic travel to Mexico to catch Braga with the help of Giselle, who gives them directions as a favor in return for Dom saving her life. Brian and Dom find him at the church and apprehended him. As Braga's henchmen try to rescue him, Brian and Dominic drive through the underground tunnels back to the United States. Brian crashes his car after taking fire from Braga's men. He is then injured after being T-boned by Phoenix. Before Phoenix can kill Brian, Dominic drives into the kills and kills Phoenix. As police and helicopters approach the crash site on the American side of the border, Brian tells Dominic to leave, but Dominic refuses, saying he is not running anymore. Despite Brian's request for clemency, the judge sentences Dominic to 25 years to life. Brian resigns from the FBI and Dominic boards a prison bus that will transport him to Lompoc Penitentiary. As the bus drives down the road, Brian, Mia, Leo, and Santos arrive in their cars and are intercepted. Okay then. So, next, the last one is called Fast 5. Okay, class? It's made by Universal Original Film and One Race Films. Here's the plot in this film. When Dominic Dom Torito is being transported to Lompoc Prison by bus, his sister Mia Torito and friend Brian O'Connor lead an assault on the on the bus, causing it to crash and freeing Dom. While the authorities search for them, the trio escapes to Rio de Janeiro. While awaiting Dom's arrival, Mia and Brian join their friend Vince and other participants on the job to steal 3 cars from a train. Brian and Mia discover that agents from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration (DIA) are also on the train, and then the cars are seized property. When Dom arrives with the rest of the participants, he realizes that the lead participant, Lizzie, is only interested in stealing 1 car, a Ford GT40. Dom has Mia steal the car herself before he and Brian fight Zizzy and his henchmen, during which Zizzy kills the DEA agents assigned to the vehicles. Dom and Brian are captured and brought to crime lord Herman Reyes, the owner of the cars and Zizzy's boss. Reyes orders the pair to be interrogated to discover the location of the car, but they manage to escape and retrieve their safe house. While Brian, Dom, and Mia examine the car to discover its importance, Vince arrives and is caught trying to remove a computer chip from it. He admits he was planning to sell the chip to Reyes on his own, and Dom forces him to leave. Brian investigates the chip and discovers it contains the complete financial details of Reyes' criminal empire, including the location of $100 million US in cash. Diplomatic Security Service agent Luke Hobbs and his team arrive in Rio to arrest Dom and Brian. With the help of local officer Elena Neves, they travel to Dom's safe house, but find it under assault by Reyes' men. Brian, Dom, and Mia escape. Dom suggests they split up and leave Rio, but Mia announces she is pregnant with Brian's child. Dom agrees to stick together and suggests they steal the money from Reyes to start a new life. They organize a team to perform the heist, and Roman, Teach, Giselle, Leo, and Santos. Vince later joins the team after saving Mia from being captured by Reyes' men. The crew infiltrate one of Reyes' facilities and set fire to the money there, baiting him into consolidating his money at a single location, a secure vault inside a police station. Hobbs and his team eventually find and arrest Dom, Mia, Brian, and Vince. While transporting them to the airport for extradition to the United States, the convoy is attacked by Reyes' men who kill Hobbs' team. Hobbs and Elena are saved by Dom, Brian, Mia, and Vince as they fight back and escape, but Vince is shot in the process and dies. Wanting to revenge his murdered team, Hobbs and Elena agree to help with a heist. The gang will break into the police station and tear the vault holding Reyes' money from the building using their cars, dragging it through the city. After extensive police chase, Dom makes Brian continue without him while he attacks the police and pursuing Reyes. Using the vault attached to his car to smash their vehicles, Brian returns and kills Lizzie while Reyes is badly injured by Dom's assault. Hobbs arrives on the scene and executes Reyes to avenge his team. Though Hobbs refuses to let Dom and Brian go free, he gives them a 24-hour head start to escape on the condition they leave the vault as it is. However, the vault is empty as it had been switched during the chase. After splitting the crash, Vince's share is given to his family. They go their separate ways. On a tropical beach, Brian and visibly pregnant Mia relax. They are met by Dom and Lena. Brian challenges Dom to a final, no-stakes race to prove who is the better driver. In the mid-credit scene, Hobbs is given a file by Monica Buenitz concerning the hijack of the military convoy in Berlin, where he discovers a recent photo of Dom's former girlfriend Letty, who had been presumed dead. Alright, so that's all the home video releases we got. So second, we're going to do M Monkey Pictures and Roman Cow Productions and Dr. T's Comedy Shorts. It is about Siberian Tiger and Bengal Tiger are fighting against each other, and Siberian Tiger was only one who wants to be winning, but Bengal Tiger kills Siberian Tiger and wins for the final stand. So and when Bengal Tiger wins, he gets a trophy for winning the most tiger battle, and this cat presumed dead. Actually, yeah, presumed dead was just a Bengal tiger's win for Siberian tigers to be presumed dead for cats. Anyway, that's all the shorts we got. And then, so third, we're gonna do Samsung Galaxy S10e. Yeah, it's about Ka who has hypnotized Mowgli for going to sleep, and when Bagheera slaps Ka into his mouth, and then Ka uses his hypnotize to Bagheera, and he was trapped by this. But you can do hitting stuff, and you can do slapping stuff, you can do anything you want, okay? Class 3 2 students? Okay then. That's all I got for today. Let's do some work now.